The Jeff League is off and going, and although the rewards aren't as premium as the Deadpool League, I'm a competitive guy. Hell, I ran track and cross country all through high school and college, so I really just want to win the league just to win it. And I think this Daken deck is one that is going to help me do so. This isn't your usual discard list. I found it on Marvel Snap Zone, and like a few people have posted it, and then I've also seen a few people stream this deck, so I don't really know who to credit it for, but it's really fun. But essentially, you Daken and then Arnim Zola the Daken. So he throws 2 more shards into your hand, and then you can Modok your hand. This creates 2 32 power Dakens. In Daken, I don't know how to say it. I'm sorry if I'm saying it the way you don't say it. I don't know. But how do you Modok after the Zola? Well, you simply can play Ravona, so you can Zola on turn 5. Or you could play Magic. You also have Supergiant in your deck, so you can play Modok out on turn 5 without him ruining your hand, and then turn 6 you can play Arnim Zola. So what happens if Modok isn't in your hand? You can lay out all the shards and just Killmonger them. Then we also have Morbius in the deck. He's in it because he just has great solid power with Modok, Blade, and Dracula. And then Grandmaster is more of a luxury pick for this deck. You can get an extra Daken shard or even another Zola proc, but I'm not super crazy about him. He seems more like a win more card in a already win more deck. So if you don't get Daken, there's actually a plan B. You play down Dracula in a solo lane similar to you would Daken, and then you can Zola the Dracula. And then once you Modok your hand with Apocalypse in hand, your Draculas can get pretty big, on average at least like 16 to 24 power. And then with this play line, you can actually Modok and then Blade on the last turn. That's why Blade's in the deck, and it pretty much just makes your Apocalypse a little stronger. But the substitutions for free-to-play players, this is a Daken deck through and through, so I think you need that card, and he can't really be subbed out. But Grandmaster, I'm fine with something like Collector or even potentially a Hulkbuster, but this slot, it's always going to feel a bit awkward. Then Supergiant, which most will probably be missing, you can just as easily play Invisible Woman. The only issue is the biggest weakness to this deck is Alioth, and Invisible Woman makes it so it's a little easier to get Alioth, but hell, if they're gonna Alioth you, you're pretty much dead either way. But I get off work Thursday, I hop into the ladder, and I start grinding my Jeff League games. This deck is very location dependent. That's why it was sick when the first game was Space Throne into Bar Sinister, but luckily they changed the bar and it's a lot more manageable. So I limbo into Supergiant because in my hand I have Modok, Zola, and Apoc, which is insane. So I just need to draw either Drac or Daken, and we end up playing Modok, and then yes, we draw Daken, who is a little weaker than we'd like because of the Cast Nova from before. And that turn he actually also played Black Bolt, which just misses my Arnim Zola hitting my Morbius. And he also plays a Spider Ham, which hits my Apocalypse, so I end up dodging 2 bullets. And on turn 7, this is what my ideal play looks like. Hey, kinda cool, right? But throughout the day, I would say I mostly played the Daken line, but I also got games like this. They turn 1 Colossus, so I wonder what deck they're playing. Arsham. And I get Ravona down, then Dracula, and looking at my hand, I have most of the setup, I just need to draw Apocalypse. And of course, I draw a rock, then the next turn, another rock. I Arnhem Zola my Dracula, and holy, turn 6 I draw my Apocalypse. And this is what the Dracula line looks like. It wasn't all rainbows and butterflies though. I had a run where I got Goliath 4 games in a row, and this deck seemingly dodges Shang-Chi, but this guy hit it behind Invisible Woman, and I lost a brand new way. So there's bad locations as we mentioned, but there's also stuff like Cloning Vats or Sinister London, and these are both really good. I can play both Daken and Dracula for a big final turn, something like this. And with that, I went to bed in the lead, feeling good about my odds of winning, and I woke up and people were playing overnight. So the next day, that is when the real grind starts. We start the day against a Claw Gamer, which is tough for this deck, but luckily for us, the final turn I have Killmonger, and he's able to clear the board, and in doing so, my MODOK nukes my hand, Morbius helps him win mid, while the big APOC gets it done on the right. We also have another game where we dodge Goliath for once, and because of Cloning Vats, we're able to set up 3 big Dakens, and MODOK goes off, and we just actually barely win the game. It's rare a deck can reach this kind of power this Daken deck does. And I know this deck is a I want to do my own thing kind of deck, but it's nice when you can Killmonger and all the zoo decks just kind of crumble. And at the end of the game, we can still just win the game with mediocre stats. Now, we're on to the last game of the day for me. It's against a Surfer deck. They do the thing where they brood and then Absorbing Man the brood, and it's just a ton of stats, so that's a little intimidating. I don't get my Daken down until turn 5, where I Daken into Grandmaster for 2 shards, then their Copycat plays my Supergiant effect, which is perfect for me. So I'm able to set up with my MODOK, and then the last turn looks a little something like this. It's so rewarding. It's really just so much fun to play this deck. And Saturday rolls along, and the final results are in. And we won. By a healthy amount. Surely the grinding was worth the borders, the boosters, and my premium variant. Oh, it's for Wasp. Well, you can't win them all, but I like these events, even though it's more just grinding rather than calculated plays. But I also love this deck, and I had a lot of fun playing it. I played nothing but this deck the last 3 days, so I hope you enjoy too. I'm also pushing for 1,000 subs so I can join the Marvel Snap Creator Program. Any likes, comments, and subs, they go a long way. But thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!
And if I see Van Helsing, I swear to the Lord I will slay him. Ha 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 ha! He'd take you from me, but I swear I won't let it be so. Ha